Well, hey crafting friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial I want to show you guys the cutest thing that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I've just never sat down to do it. So today we're going to turn these little MDF, they're like MDF blocks that you can use as a shelf sitter from Amazon. These are 5 inches by 3 inches. We're going to turn them into something that looks like this. These little petite country churches. We're going to be using some vintage hymns, some Mod Podge, a little bit of paint, my favorite thing that I use just about every single day and that you need to have in your crafting closet, a set of these chalk paste and ink markers from magnoliadiy.com. So it should be really fun. I'm super excited about it, and I am willing to bet, although I don't believe in gambling, that you're gonna love this and that you're gonna wanna make these like right away. Okay, so this is where we're headed, and I'm gonna show you every single step to get here. All right, so the first thing you're going to do, oh, and by the way, as you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to sprinkle, because I am going to be giving away some hymnal pages to 3 people who I select at random who sprinkle this video and tell me in the comments if they sprinkled. Okay, I'll pull out 3 or 4 pages of beautiful hymns and send them to 3 people who sprinkle. So sprinkle, sprinkle if you want. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of these little blocks. I ordered these on Amazon, and they're 5 by 3, they're MDF. I'll supply the information if you want to order them, but you could use any kind of little wood something, or even some 2 by 4s, 3 by 5s, 5 by 6s, something like that, okay? And you're gonna pick out what you want to decoupage it with. I'm using these hymnals. And this was something that one of my followers sent me. Gosh, oh, this is a good one. Trusting Jesus sent me maybe 3.5 years ago, because I was having a hard time finding them. Look for these at your church. A lot of churches are getting rid of these hymnals, and see if they have some that they'd be willing to give you, or maybe you can find some at a thrift store, at an antique store. Look online, look on Etsy, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to be using this piece right here, Trusting Jesus. And what I'm going to do right now is sort of figure out where I want it to sit. And I want the title, Trusting Jesus, to be in about the center of my block, and I do want it to be straight. So I just kind of creased my paper to go about where I'm going to want it to do. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to use a pencil to trace it. I'm looking to see, am I pretty straight? Yes, I think I am. This is the side we're going to actually use. I'm just going to quickly cut it out. I have been seeing these little shelf sitters, you know, all different sizes, for a few years at different home decor places, boutiques, at my favorite Queen of Hearts Antique Mall. And I've always thought, I want to make something like that, but I honestly didn't know how to do it. So I had just ordered these blocks from Amazon, and they came last night, and I was like, by golly, this morning I'm just going to figure it out. And I'm going to use what I have on hand, the supplies that I have to make it work. That's what kind of a crafter I am. I don't always do things exactly the way you're supposed to. I just do them the way I have the supplies and the energy to do. Okay, so I just did this. We'll see if it's close enough to the right size. It probably is. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm using this matte Mod Podge that I got at Hobby Lobby, but you can get this stuff everywhere, every craft place. And if you don't have access to it, you can ask Mr. Google or Miss YouTube, and they can tell you how to make it from scratch at home using white school glue and water. So if you don't have any Mod Podge, it's not the end of the story. You can still do this if you have some white school glue and you want to Google that recipe. This Mod Podge that I have right now is getting kind of old, and it's starting to get some lumps in it. I don't know why, but anyways, I'm gonna have to break open a new jar very soon. Okay, so I'm just putting a super thin layer of Mod Podge on the front of my board. Really thin. I've done this project, this is my 4th time doing it this morning because I always want to get every detail worked out. And the first one I put the Mod Podge on pretty thick, and I'll show you how it looks. It looks a little wrinkled, so I think it's super important that you put your Mod Podge on very, very thin to get started. And then I'm just pressing my vintage hymnal into the board. I'm gonna look around and see, is there anywhere where it's really hanging over the edge? Not really. Okay, and then I'm going to, whoops, why did I put this away? We're not done yet. I'm going to put a thin coat on top. And I'm gonna try not to go over it too many times. And I want it to be thin enough that it's not cloudy when it dries. If you've Mod Podged before, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can get puddles of Mod Podge, and then those areas, when they dry, they look kind of cloudy. You don't want that. So I've got it on, and now I'm just gonna pull in straight lines off the excess. Okay, and there we go. Okay, I want to tell you one thing right now. I'm not going to do it for this piece, but on my first one, I got a bunch of it on the edges and it looked messy. So I came back and did a coat of Mod Podge all on the sides, just so it wouldn't look messy. But as I'm doing more of these, I'm getting neater and I'm not making a big mess on the sides. So just be aware of that. Okay, so you're going to put one thin coat of Mod Podge on, and then you're gonna let that dry. And I have worked ahead, and I did this one. My wonderful Lord, okay? And I'm the queen of making patterns, I guess, because I never feel secure about my drawing abilities. So this is the sort of church I came up with. It's off center. And I just sketched it on a piece of computer paper. And I'm basically just going to lay this on my little block on top. This is dry. It has a coat of Mod Podge over the top, and I'm gonna trace it with a pencil, and then we're gonna paint the underlying colors first. And I'm tracing it with the pencil so that I know where to paint. The pencil will get all covered up, so don't worry about that. Okay, I think you can probably kind of see where that is. Okay, and this is my vision of a church, plus it'll have a cross on the top. Hey, but if you're artistic, go for it. This just is about all I can do, and it's cute enough. But I've seen these old country churches in all different shapes. Sometimes they have 3 levels. Sometimes they have really fancy stained glass. So that's up to you. Okay, and then we're going to be using some more Mod Podge, which I'm going to pour on a paper plate. Yes, I definitely need a new bottle of Mod Podge. I need to retire this one. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a huge glob. That's gross. Yes, this definitely needs to be retired. Okay, so I put a blob of Mod Podge on my plate because I'm gonna dilute my paint a little bit so that it looks sheer. It's almost translucent. If you look at this, see how you can still very lightly see the sheet music, the hymnal underneath it. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a small, well, for the white, it doesn't have to be teeny. I'm just gonna use a brush, cruddy brush. And I'm gonna grab a glob of white paint. And then I'm gonna grab some of this Mod Podge and bring it over here, and I'm mixing up, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but this is how I'm doing it, and it looks great. I'm mixing up some Mod Podge with this white paint, which is Waverly brand. It says chalk, but it's actually acrylic. It's no prep acrylic paint. It must have some chalk in it. And this is just the white. If you want a different color, you could certainly do a different color. Okay, and then I'm just gonna paint the whole thing in here, inside my lines. That is not thin enough. And we're gonna use the big black markers to go around the edges, so don't worry if your painting lines are not straight. Got a bump in here, let's get rid of that. I need new paintbrushes, oh my gosh. And I also need a new Mod Podge. I'll hold this up in just a second and show you. Okay. You can still see the hymnal underneath it. Okay, we're going to let that dry for 2 seconds. While I mix up the next thing. The next thing is going to be blue. Come on. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm adding some Mod Podge with some of this blue. It's called Agave Waverly paint. And I'm using a smaller, stiffer brush for this part. I have no idea where this brush came from. It's like all the rest of my brushes, it's cruddy. And I'm just gonna take a little scoop of the blue and a little bit of the Mod Podge, because I do want this to look pretty translucent. Okay, and then if you look at my little fancy drawing, you'll notice that there's a round window and then an arched window above the doors. Does anyone else not have sound? Oh no. I'm pretty sure my sound is fine. Can everyone hear me? I think everyone can. Okay, so I'm gonna look at my little drawing and remember, where do I want these things to be? And I'm gonna just do a round window right here. Not hard at all. And then, let's see, where's my paper plate? Then I'm gonna do the arched window right here. And there's nothing fancy about this church drawing, okay? This is just my imagination. I can, of course, take a picture of my little drawing if anyone wants to look at it. But you can probably draw a church as well, if not better than me. And those are a little bit translucent too. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do are the doors. And for that, I am using this color of Waverly paint called Elephant. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to grab some of this Mod Podge. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this elephant out of the top of my jar. Just going to mix it with my Mod Podge. You probably could even just paint this directly on. I don't know, this made sense to me when I was thinking about it this morning. But don't take this as the gospel truth, okay? You can do this however you want. Hey, Angie, thank you for sprinkling. By the way, I am going to be giving away three sets of some of the pages from this hymnal to 3 people whose names I pick at random who sprinkle this video to their social media. Sprinkle means share, so it just means put this video on your social media. If you are on Facebook, you could put it on your personal page. Ooh, that's too dark. If you're part of a craft group that is good for sharing crafters' videos there, you could do that. It's totally up to you. But tell me in the comments that you did it so that I know to put your name in my hat. Okay. And here's our door. And every one is going to look different. You don't have to use these same colors. This is just what I chose to do. And here's my little, oh, and I forgot, wait, the green. Let's do one more a little bit. Let me get another brush, another little something. That'll work. Yeah, we'll use this one. Okay, and I'm just gonna grab a little bit of Mod Podge and work on this little Easter plate right here, and a little bit of green. And this green is called Fern. It's a great color. This does kind of give it some texture also. Okay, and I'm gonna put a little green on either side of the front door of the church. And then I'm going to put some off to the side. If you want to do a tree, you could do a tree. If you want to do little tiny flowers, you could do that. If you want to do snow, you could do that. It's totally up to you. So this is where we are. And we started with a piece that just looked like this. Okay. And I have crafted ahead so that I can do the next step and we don't have to wait for it to dry. So I'm going to set this one aside. Close my paint. All right, where is it? Here it is. Okay, here's the one that I had ready to go. And this is dry. Okay, so let me get my little template so I can remember what I'm going for. And I'm going to use this pen, this black ink from my ink and chalk paste marker set from magnoliadiy.com. And I'm just going, I flipped the tip around so it's the chisel one, which I hardly ever use that. I mostly just use the round one, but the chisel works to give you a little bit more detail. Okay, and I'm gonna start by doing the roofs. See how they're pointed? And you can make these as thick as you want. I'm just going to start out with this. And then let's make this roof. Right now it looks like a birdhouse and not really a church. How do you make the song page fit the little block? I traced it and cut it out. It's a vintage hymnal page. Okay, and I'm going to go around my little circle here. Oh, that's a terrible, terrible circle. And then we'll do the sides. Okay, and let's do this window. These things have so much charm that you don't need to do straight lines. So if you're like me and you're always shaky, don't worry about it. Okay, so I have the church and the windows outlined. And it's looking cute already, don't you think? Each one is different. I'm going to use the finer lines for this one so you can compare to the one that I went over it multiple times. Okay, and now I'm going to do my church doors. And I'm imagining that mine are two doors that open out. And I'm just putting this little thing that looks sort of like doors with some kind of little, I don't know. That makes sense to me. Isn't it cute already, you guys? And this is so easy. Can you even believe how easy it is? Now, you could do this on any size of these little MDF blocks. This is just what I have, so I'm making mine petite country church shelf sitters is what I'm calling them. But you could make yours bigger if you want. Okay, and now I'm going to do a cross in this window. And I think I'm going to do the roofs just a little bit thicker, and then we'll do the cross. And then we'll do the green. Okay, so then I'm just gonna do some little kind of squiggly doos in the grass. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna do. We'll see how it looks. You could skip that if you wanted, but oh my gosh, this is so dang cute, isn't it? Okay, going to do this with the grandkids, yes. And you know what, have them, if you're gonna do this project with little ones, trace a piece of paper that's the size of the block before they start. And then have them do some drawings of churches before they do it on their block so that they can imagine where they're going. And it could be as simple as they want. But I think it was helpful to me to have this little pattern before I started. Okay, so now really all we have left is the cross. And I am seriously thinking that I'm gonna give these, my summer Bible study is gonna be over at the end of this next week. And so I'm gonna make some of these and give them to the two ladies who are, one is the coordinator and the other one is the one who's leading the Bible study. And I think they'd be so sweet. And I'll just put something on the back, you know, thank you, Hiedi 2022 or something. But anyways, I'm excited about it. I've been trying to figure out what I could make because I always make my gifts for church things myself. Just because I think a homemade gift is so awesome. Okay, and there we go, dun da da, all done. Okay, if you can't find hymnal pages, you could always look on the internet and print something on your printer, print an image of an old hymnal. I'm sure you can buy these hymnals online. You could probably even buy a few pages online. And if you'll sprinkle this video, I'll put your name in my hat because I'm going to give away three sets of pages to 3 people whose names I pick at random. I think they're adorable. I might darken the roof on this one just a little bit more, looking at them. But I'm super excited. Okay, the last step, and this started like this, and then we decoupaged a hymnal on it, and then, excuse me, then we traced our little pattern, and we just painted in very lightly so it was translucent, the church, the windows, the doors, and the little greenery. And then we did the pièce de résistance with the markers, which seriously, if you don't have these markers yet, they're chalk paste and ink markers. I use them on almost every single project I do. Like just this week, I used them on this. Did you see this video? It was really fun. I love doing little dots and dashes and squiggles and dots and anyways, this was a sunflower door hanger stuffy that we made this weekend. I used my pins for that. And then I've used them, if I'm looking around my craft room, I mean, I've used them so much. They're such a good investment. They're like $14 or $15. And if you want a link to look at the pins, it's magnoliadiy.com. That's my website. But if you just say link, I'll give you a direct link to these so you don't have to go to my website and hunt around for half an hour to find them. They come with black, white, gold, and silver in chalk paste, black, white, gold, and silver in ink. And they're awesome. Okay, so then the very last thing is to take these outside and give them a very light coat of clear spray sealer. Mine is matte. This is Rust-Oleum brand 2x Ultra Cover from Walmart, under $5. It lasts forever. And this is just a great last step to seal everything in. But tell me what you think. Are these adorable or what? Where did I get the blocks of wood? On Amazon. They're just 5x3 MDF blocks. And I put the information on this page already, but I'll sprinkle some through the comments, a screenshot of what they look like and what the name of the company is, so that you can go to your Amazon and search it and find it easy. There were, I don't know, 15 or 14 of these for $22 or something. They're not super fancy and they're very petite. I would probably have preferred if they were a little bigger. Anyways, so that's the project. If you decide to do it, I definitely want to see pictures of yours. Just know that in the future, we're going to take this idea. We're going to do all kinds of things. I've got so many ideas. Like we're going to do the little feeding trough with baby Jesus in it and a star at Christmas time. We're going to probably do a cross. We might use some hot glue to have it be elevated. We may do some angels. There's so many things that you can do with this idea. And honestly, it was just not nearly as hard as I thought it would be. And I didn't use anything special. I didn't use any special supplies whatsoever. I just used my basic paint that I had on hand, my basic Mod Podge, and the markers that I love so much, plus some pages from this hymnal that I've had for 3 or 4 years. And yeah. Okay, so if you like the things that you're seeing here, I would love it if you would consider sprinkling this video to your Facebook page. Also, check to see if you've liked and followed DIY Dreaming yet. Actually, it's followed now. What else? Oh, do this, or say something to me in the comments. If you want to see what's coming up tomorrow, all those things, and turn on your notifications, all those things increase the chances that, according to the Facebook algorithms, that they might actually serve you what I have coming up next, and the next day, and the next day. But that's no guarantee. But you can come back here anytime you want and click on the videos tab and scroll down and watch. I have thousands of videos here over the last 4 years, and they're all labeled. So you can come back anytime you want. Can't sleep? Want to know how to do glass etching? Come to DIY Dreaming, click on the videos tab and scroll down until you see one of about 5 or 6 different videos I've done on glass etching, or whatever it might be. So, and thank you so much to everyone who did stars. Let me know if you have questions I can answer, all that good stuff. So thanks for joining me. I'll get pictures of these, put them in these comments, and also here on the page. And you guys have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you later. Bye.